Hi, I'm Shan. As most of you are aware, ANYA, a professor at Carnegie Mellon University, took to Twitter to wish Queen Elizabeth an excruciating death after worries about the Queen's health became public. I'm of the view that freedom of speech has gone too far. Number one, God calls us to have respect for authority and to pray for our leaders. Romans 13 verse 1 says, "Everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God." Titus 3 verse 1 says, "Remind the believers to submit to the government and its officers. They should be obedient, always ready to do what is good." 1 Timothy 2 verse 1 to 3 says, "I urge you first of all to pray for all people. Ask God to help them, intercede on their behalf, and give thanks for them. Pray this way for kings and all who are in authority, so that we can live peaceful and quiet lives, marked by godliness and dignity. This is good and pleases God our Saviour." Number 2, God chose the Queen to rule nations. It wasn't a clever idea or the intelligence of any human being. It was all orchestrated by Abba. Daniel 2 verse 21 says, "He changes times and seasons. He disposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning." As some of you are aware, Queen Elizabeth's uncle, King Edward VIII, abandoned the throne in 1936 because he was determined on marrying the American divorcee Wallis Simpson. "The woman I love" is what he called her. And it was a union rejected by the political and royal establishment. So Queen Elizabeth's father, King George VI, became king. Queen Elizabeth was the eldest child of her parents, so when her father died in 1952, she became queen aged 25. These sorts of things seem natural and normal, but they are actually spiritual and they're divinely orchestrated by God. Another point that I'd like to make is that, it's okay to disagree with our leaders. It's okay to not always be pleased with every decision that they make. We're not all the same. We don't all think the same. We don't all do things in the same way. So it's okay to disagree, but it should come with some kind of respect. Wishing, a painful death on another human being, if I'm going to be honest, I just feel that is just, that is a bit much, for me, in my understanding. I just think that's a bit much. It just can't be right. This is not to say that I haven't experienced, injustice, in life. And it's not just injustice from the UK. I've experienced injustice from my own homeland as well, from the people from my own homeland. As a black woman, I've experienced racism, especially institutional racism, mainly within the educational system. However, would I go and blame the Queen as a person, as an individual entity for my experiences? No. Because if you see yourself and every human being as part of a wider environment, community, institution and system, you will understand not to blame an individual when things don't always go as you would like it to or as it should go. That's my view. And I will add, ultimately, the Queen, as head of state, in practice, has to remain strictly neutral with respect to political matters. She cannot vote or stand for election. So decisions that are being made is not necessarily the one entity making decisions. There are, decisions are being made by a system, by an institution, and not the Queen as a person. And I feel that people are not quite understanding that. I'm going to add that I can say that the Queen did not die a painful and excruciating death, but one that was peaceful, and she was surrounded by her loved ones, and she is in eternal glory because God showed it to me. You know, I would never, speak something that God has not shown me. I saw in a spiritual realm that, ANYA, although she's been allowed to keep her role, I feel that when everything has died down after some months, this is what I got in a spiritual realms anyway, in a vision, that she will be driven out of her job at the university as a professor, or something will happen. She will do something or say something that may be looked at in a particular light, and she could lose her job, and that's what I saw.